Hello and welcome to my new channel. I'm Brendan Koster and this is Brendan in Tech. In this new channel I will also talk about the board computer project, my big project that I talked in earlier videos in my first channel. But I'm also talking about other electronica projects. I think my audience is at first Dutch people who don't speak English very well. Also, people who are interested in projects that I make. And at last, maybe in future, my videos are at just such good quality that they're also interested for people in general who want to learn more about electronica, microcontrollers, etc. As before, I will make all videos in Dutch and from most videos also an English translation. This is for people who don't speak Dutch and for my own skills to learn better English. In this video I will build with you a Airrohr, and that is a community-based particle matter meter. This I want to build because I smell often a smell of fire in my house, and I think there is something on fire outside. I think some people set something on fire outside, and I don't like that smell. I hope that after I build the particle matter meter, it is possible after some tests to make some adjustments to alert me, to make a sound like beep 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 when there is something on fire, so I know I have to run to the windows and close them all so the most smell of them stays outside. To start with the base project, what do we need? We need first the ESP8266 microcontroller unit and of course the particle matter meter. This is the SDS011. Also we need a temperature meter. This is the BME280. We have needs some tube and jumper wires, female to female, and a soldering iron. This is to add jumper wires to the temperature and humidity sensor. Are you ready to start? For soldering, it's important to have something for clean air. You can solder by window, or in my case, have some ventilator with a carbonite filter. I also have some metal spoon that is for maintenance of the tip of my soldering iron. I have a stand for my soldering iron that the tip do not have to rest on my desk, and some silicone mat that is also that soldering drops do not drop on my desk.
If you want to solder some pin headers, it is important to put them somewhere in. If you do not, the plastic can melt and the result will be very messy. In this case, I will put them in some piece of breadboard. So I can easily adjust the angle and have a nice result. Now you have to heat up your soldering iron. Add some tip and make it clean with your metal spoon. Add some new tin and you have a good connection between the parts that you want to solder and your iron. Now you can first add one point to set the angle good and go on after. As you can see, it not melt very well. Most times you can solve it with adding some flux. So I did. Um, I was forgotten that to film, so I acting that I adding flux right now. After adding flux, it goes most times a lot better. This time not, and that is because the temperature of my iron was a little bit too low, so I high it a little bit up, and now it's going very well, as you can see with the rest. Heh, a bridge. So it's not very uncommon to have a soldering bridge. You can easily solve it by wiping your iron by it and wipe it off in your metal spoon. Sometimes you have to do that a second time, sometimes a third time, and mostly it will be solved at this way. If not, you can use other methods, but this time this will work. On the project page, we can find a lot of information. First, we can see we have to download some drivers for the ESP8266. So let's do that. The drivers that linked on project website are not working by mine. So I searched for other drivers and installed them. After downloading, you first have to unzip the drivers and you can install them with running the setup.exe. After installing the drivers, we first have to reboot our machine, and when we have done that, we can install the firmware. The firmware is a piece of software made by the developers of the Airrohr project, and as you can see, there are a lot of versions. Most times I preferred the latest not beta version of it, and because I use Windows 11, I use the Windows version. They have made a very nice setup. You can see which type of ESP8266 you have, if you don't know, and you can choose a language. I think it's a language. I choose NL, that stands for Netherlands, and I think that is the Dutch language. So I would see. To look further on the project page, we see how we can connect everything. I will work it out as I did for my board computer project also, so it will be similar and easy to read, I hope. Did you see it? I soldered the pin headers the wrong way. No problem, I think everything will work fine. However, it will be measured a little bit different because I measure now inside instead of outside, so I will change it. I will change the whole video for that, but for now it's okay. And I will place a message by the soldering part. The connections. We have the ESP8266 and the SDA011 permittivity meter. We connect TX to pin D1, RX to pin D2, 5 volt to VU, and ground to ground. Also, we have the temperature sensor, the BME 280. From here we connect SDA with pin D3, SCL with pin D4, VCC with 3V3, and ground with ground. This for the schedule. Now to the rewires. First, we have to unbox our SDS011, and then we can connect all wires. To not make it boring, I will speed up the video a little bit so everything go fast. There is no hard rule around which color you have to use for what. However, for VCC and ground, it's important to use the right colors, red and black. And because I have only one red and one black, I use also brown for ground and white for VCC. And the last part, the tube. And then we are ready for testing. After power everything up, you have to wait around 2 minutes and you see a new Wi-Fi network. You can log in with the password airrohrcfg, and then you can go to 192.168.4.1. There you can do some settings like take over your home Wi-Fi network and looking for what sensors are probably available. I see everything is well and installed as I have done. So after walking around in the menu, I think I can say okay and go to the next phase. By clicking on the red bar with opslaan en herstarten, that's Dutch for save and restart, you will lose your connection with the sensor and you have to go back to your own Wi-Fi network. The router menu can help to find the error back. In my router, I can find it to go to the logbook in System Monitor. If you have a different type of router, you can find it somewhere else, but it's also always possible to find the IP addresses on your router. Going to that IP address, I come in a menu from the Airrohr. Here I can look the actual measures, not so good I believe, and I can also search through the menu and come back to the configuration we saw before. So everything is possible to change here also. Very nice. By clicking on actieve sensorenkaart, I think active sensor map, you go to an external site and there you can find all this kind of sensors that are registered and you can find how the measures are there. Very nice also. Awesome. Now we can register our sensor. First thing is register ourselves. On the homepage of the project, you can find a register button. Going to there, you come on another website and there you can register your. You can fill in your email address and password, and if you have done that, then you should get an email to confirm. I get this mail with 5 minutes. When you have confirmed your email address, you can log in. By logging in the first time, you see you have no sensors available. And I have also no sensor at the moment. Now let's register my new sensor so you can see how it works. The sensor ID is the number that stands after your SSID from the sensor, or you should have seen that earlier by installing the firmware. I will speed up and black out my personal details for privacy, but I think it speaks for itself what you have to fill in. For now, my sensor is inside, so I marked it as inside. Later I make a case and then I put them outside, then I unmark it as inside. Everything is filled in and now my sensor is in my overview. So I've registered it and I'm happy about it. All credits for this fantastic sensor goes to the community that developed this sensor. In a next episode, I will try to add an alarm on this sensor. For now, I hope that my video was helpful or at least interesting for you. I should say, this was Brendan in Tech, and until the next video.